Bam bam ba da da bam bam ba da ba da ba da ba do ba do ba do ba 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 do ba do ba ba do 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 Guess what you just tuned into? The Royal Rant. It is time to chill, listen, and chant. We love to give the news. I come to speak the truth. I love to speak the truth. I'm coming to speak to you. So thank you for tuning in. Let us begin. Because it's me, you, and probably some of your friends. Hey. So welcome to the Royal Rant. It's been a while since I've talked about some real shit. It's been a while since I've done something other than some reviews and whatnot, or being goofy and whatnot. So, I'm gonna talk some real shit. We're gonna still have some fun, but hey. Alright, so, man, I just woke up. I literally, last few, weeks, wow, right? Just wow. We go from solar eclipse to back-to-back hurricanes, right? So, just so you know, currently right now, all right, the news did, hype the shit out of it. They made it really, really extra, but on a ground level, being in an area and experiencing it, yeah, there's some real shit that did happen. Some real places did get fucked up. There's trees down everywhere, brick walls. Half of my complex has power and the other half doesn't. I just happen to be in the section of people who have electricity in my complex. That's how lucky I am right now. Not gonna lie, it was a little what? I saw a whole half of a building fall on some cars. There was some gas stations jacked up. Walmart sign got holes blown through it. Yo, shit's real. There's still people without power. That joint happened Sunday. It is now Thursday currently, and there are still people without power, and people still saying that they're not gonna have power till tomorrow, Saturday, and stuff like that. It's crazy. It's crazy. And the flooding stuff didn't really happen like that. I don't know where they got these clips of flooded streets and all this shit from, because that didn't really happen anywhere like that. No one, that didn't really happen. And if it did, it was puddles because drains weren't working. It wasn't oh my gosh, where'd all this water come? At least in my area. But in other places, yeah, I'm not sure really what's going on with Miami and places like that, but shit might be getting a little jacked up. But okay, so today I woke up to hearing something about people, two things that was surprised me, but at the same time kind of had me right? So this is the first one. Literally, I guess, okay, in Wisconsin, somewhere in Wisconsin, this company decided, hey, we're going to microchip our employees, right? And I'm not fully sure what the extent of the microchips purpose is, right? I'm just going off of some of what I've heard and what I'm getting. And I just think it's hilarious, right? So what they did in order to get these people to be oh yeah, I'll put a microchip in me, why not, right? In this place in Wisconsin, they were hey, want free t-shirts? And everybody was yeah. And they were well, we got a fuckload of these free t-shirts. Shit, we pretty much got one for everybody in the company. This is the thing though. If you want one of these free shirts, you just gotta get a microchip put in you. And everybody was what? For a second, kind of it's wait. You're getting a free T-shirt, and then everyone was like, all right, and then they just lined up, and I guess they just all started getting some microchips and stuff, right? So that was one thing I woke up to hearing. So take that in for a second, soak that in, so I can drop this on you. So then, meanwhile, at colleges and at certain colleges, they're like cafeterias, mess halls, whatever you want to call them. They are literally making students have to scan their fingerprints in order to get food. And I think that's crazy, right? But also, all right, you got to take into account places like Universal Studios and Disneyland, places like that. You have to scan your fingerprint to go in there, but they get you like last second. It's not like when you're doing security pat down, like, oh yeah. Like, by the way, we're gonna need your fingerprint. No, it's like when you're giving them your ticket and shit, and you done paid like $100 or whatever that day to get in, and like you're at the turnbuckle to go in. And they're like, by the way, we need that thumbprint though, and you're like, meh? But you're like, fuck, I see Goofy 10 feet in front of me. There's Spider-Man. Hurry up, just take my thumb. And they just run off. You know what I'm saying? These little college kids are like, hey, I'm hungry as fuck. There's pizza. Fuck it. What finger? Like, they're not thinking. You got to realize all this stuff, all this facial recognition technology, this fingerprint scanning stuff. Every time they scan your ID at the gas station or at a club or all these things, all this information is going somewhere. All of this stuff is going somewhere. And the fact that it is going somewhere and it is stored, people have access to it, whether you want them to or not. Be aware of this. The fact that like companies are taking people's information and like taking a lot of information from people just to even do simple stuff, and and then the fact that their systems can be hacked, and they're trying to say that this stuff is secure and all that. Like, I've seen it before where Yahoo and Gmail and all these places have been hacked and emails have been let loose. And then what are people even able to do? Because I'm pretty sure they put some type of clauses in their agree statements to be like, we're not exactly liable for that. So, like, because you're taking your own risk of storing your information here type thing. And it's some craziness, man. I think that's wild. I think we're moving towards an age of two things, of desensitization and dehumanization. And what it is right now we're being overloaded with information, and I'm not even purposely trying to rhyme, but this shit is coming off smooth right now. But yeah, we're in an age of an overload of information that is causing desensitization. And why I say that is because for 2 or 3 days on end, you're being super duper spoon fed these 3 or 4 mass topics, right? And then 3 days later, you're on to the next thing. And it's the next 2 or 3 things. 3 days later, it's the next thing. And people are forgetting. Stuff is happening so fast, and we have so much access to information, and we're inputting stuff into ourselves, and then also stuff that we don't even want to be input into us is being put into us. And it's causing us to quickly be able to just see something and then be like, okay, yeah, that's happening, but what's being done? Because people are forgetting. I don't know if people are forgetting, or they just don't know what they can do, or just don't know how to do things and act on stuff. I'm not going to sit here and act like I've done a bunch of shit for my community, but I do things for my community, okay? So, but at the same time, it's just like, hey, people, like, the cool thing is, one, if you're listening to this, more than likely, you're what they say nowadays is quote unquote woke. Like, that's cool. I just prefer to say, informed, enlightened, all that type stuff. Because, you're probably like me. You make sure you get your information from places and other people, and not just from biased, bought and paid for propaganda opinions, such as different news corporations and or major media networks that may be easily persuaded. So sometimes you have to go out there and get your own and hear it. And yeah, and when you hear some stuff, now you can go research it deeper. Now you can go look into it, right? That's the cool thing. Now, but this is the crazy thing, right? So let me go back to microchipping, people. I'm about to tie this stuff into some craziness, right? Have y'all not noticed how if our if any form of power or establishment, at least in American history, and I'll explain, they'll give you something free, but take a bunch of shit from you? Is it just me? Or is America fucking us so good that this shit shouldn't be for free? But this is what's going on right now. And what happened before. You got to think, how did they kill off the indigenous people of this country? And when I say they, I mean the original settlers, invaders, you know what I'm saying, conquerors, the original white nationalists, whatever the flip you want to call them, the establishers of this here state and country and fine land. Does no one remember how they gave them free blankets? They gave them blankets with diseases and shit, right? They gave them a bunch of blankets. They gave them clothes. They gave them a bunch of stuff and was like, oh, yeah, here you go. The Spanish did it to the ones in the South Americas. They came through with like measles and a bunch of stuff. The ones came through Europe and did their thing and came through over here and landed on the East and did the same thing, gave a bunch of blankets. And most of them died, right? Okay. Fast forward, 2017. Hey, want a free t-shirt? Have a nice day. You don't know the effect of that shit. You don't know what that's for. That could be a nano bomb. That could be some... You don't know. What if they... All right. I know this isn't what happened. I'm pretty sure of it. But let's just run this scenario. Let's just run this scenario that there's you work for some tech company. This tech company develops all kinds of stuff, little pieces for cell phones, little components. They're the places that make the motherboards and like the little circuit board things and all that, right? You work for one of these places. Then a government contract comes through and says, yeah, we want you to start developing these very small, just very small electronic devices, small enough to fit into a vein of an arm without being a nuisance. Right? And you're the guy at the desk. You get this thing and you're just like, all right, you're just reading the description. You're just like, okay, that's interesting, but all right, that's cool. And you're a tech guy, you're science. You're like, oh, this is in the game of science. And, okay, all right, right. So you get to working on this thing. You put it all together. All right, you send them the prototype. They say, okay, this is great. Now what we need you to do is make it, we need a lethal version and a non-lethal version. And the guy goes, what does that mean? And he goes, you know exactly what that means. And then the guy goes back to his office, right? And so he has to sit there and think of these different ways. He's like, lethal, non-lethal, right? So he's like, okay, so he comes up with certain ones that are just, maybe just little blinky lights, little cool stuff, little tracking device, little something small, right? Then you got your ones that got like a little small poison thing or something, or maybe a little explosive, just something. You can do that, right? You can do that, right? You can. You really can, okay? So you get this happen. Then you send that up. All right, contract fulfilled. Great. Okay, now, when you guys as a company took on this government took on this you know, this contract or whatever, there was a clause in there that says that we can test this on the developers and on your company. We're gonna need you to start microchipping some people. What? Yeah, that's what we just had you build, by the way. That was basically a nano chip, microchip. So what we need you to do is figure out a way to stick it in your employees. And then the company goes, fuck. What do we do? Shit, we kind of have to, because then, or else they're, what if they shut us down? Like, they know stuff now, right? All right. Give them free t-shirts. Let's try it. Let's try it. We'll probably get at least 100, 200 people, right? See how that works. Maybe a couple of those guys will talk to a couple people, be like, hey, it's not so bad. And then a couple other people be like, yeah, the t-shirt looks kind of cool. Why not? And then after a while, they won't even have to give out the shirts. They'll just be chipping them, right? So it's crazy. And so now to tie that into something else, right? We already walk around with our little tracking devices. We've already been convinced enough that we need these phones and these devices all the time, and all of those are connected to maps and GPS and location stuff. So we're always, findable. And then now we're giving up our faces with facial recognition, and we're giving up pieces of ourselves. So when there's clones and little digital versions or a fucking 3D hologram or some shit of you one day fucking robbing someplace or up for a murder case or some shit, and you think you're in a multiverse or you think you're in an alternate reality, but no, you gave up enough of your fucking information that they were able to craft your fucking essence or your fucking physical form enough to fucking send it out and do something somewhere. It might not even be over here, it might be in another country. You don't know. You don't fucking know. You don't fucking know. Or they sell all that information somewhere, it goes somewhere, and then what's happening with it then? Because somebody's doing something with all that stuff, right? You gotta take all that into consideration. There's too many things you can do. The dark net exists, so it's like some Black Mirror shit. It's like that show on Netflix or something. It's dead. We're really heading towards that stuff. Dave Chappelle said we're in the age of spin, right? And that's what he partially meant with this whole desensitization thing. Is, okay, let's just keep showing people getting killed and show it in movies, show it on television, and fictionalize it for a really long time. Then, now let's make it nonfiction. Let's show them the real stuff. And let's just show them so much of the real stuff and then embed it into our culture to where people just go, oh, that's just America. Or you just write it off, like, right? Because what's happening right now is we're like in the new slavery. This is the age of new slavery. Technology has allowed us to become slaves. We've also allowed ourselves to become slaves by not understanding or being taken advantage of by our own language. A lot of what's wrong with what's going on is the fact of the language and how things are written in the law books and the rule books. We may agree or disagree on that, but it's how you can word something and how it can be interpreted that affects everything. And that's why you have court. Okay, so because basically at the end of the day, court, you're fighting for the interpretation of a law or a right to either defend or prosecute. So, and everyone's trying to bend those rules and laws and interpret them in their favor, right? to win. So language and technology. Because technology has made us think that we as a whole are more advanced. Meanwhile, we're becoming slower, lazier, more demanding because we want things more instantaneous. But the problem is it's causing us to want shortcuts to everything. No one wants to, the mass majority doesn't want to actually work or do anything to obtain what it is that they need. I'm starting to see that a lot in this quote unquote millennial generation or something or whatever. Like, people don't want to work. It's weird. Or they don't like want to, I don't know. Anyway, so we're in the age of new slavery because a comedian, Patrice O'Neal, right? He brought up an interesting thing, right? He was like, okay, black people want reparations, right? He said, okay. He said, look at how income tax basically could be kind of the new slavery, because it's kind of like we're paying a debt that America took on because they're really owned by a bank, Federal Reserve or whatever, right? They're owned by a bank that actually tells them what to do. So the funny thing is really the government kind of just figures out how it is that they're supposed to tell us and get us to go along with what it is that the bank was like, hey, we need you to do, right? So what Patrice O'Neal said was, should black people be exempt from federal income tax? Like, just an idea, right? But yeah, a lot of us are working and accumulating materials and things, but really for what? And it's because we've been told to. And why have we been told to? Is because every time you buy something and you accumulate more, you're helping pay off the debt to that bank that will never be paid if it's as high of a number as they say it is. It's in the trillions and stuff like that. Imagine, you can't fathom, honestly, can you really fathom trillions of dollars, right? Like, my heart just started beating weird even trying to picture this right now. You got to really think about this. All right, people are like, $1 million is a lot of money. Okay, $50 million is a lot of money. $500 million is a lot of money. Couple $1 billion is a lot of money. But now you're talking trillion. Like, you could literally fill a room. You could fill like a building, like trillions of dollars of debt. Like, imagine just lifetimes of dollar bills. Like, it's just, yeah, so it's not going to happen, right? So it's this unimaginable thing. So it makes you wonder a little bit, right? Like, wow. So I just think we're kind of moving towards a state where, what if it's like, all right, well, one, we're becoming expendable and replaceable with artificial intelligence improving, and you got self-checkout, and you got these certain things. They're making us work for free. Yo, self-checkout is working for free. You just, yo, Bill Burr has a great bit about it. Like, it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. But honestly, self-checkout. There was a reason why when you used to pull up to a gas station, someone else used to come out and pump your gas. They didn't just used to just sit on their ass behind a counter all day. someone used to come out and pump your gas because if you pulled up and pumped your own gas, you're working for free. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Same thing. Okay, now I'll pull up to the grocery store. I already had to drive here after pumping my own gas. Now I had to drive here, walk in, grab a cart, push the cart around the store, find everything that I want, put it all in the cart. I get up here. Oh, self-checkout. Now I'm scanning everything. I'm bagging it myself. I don't got a fucking name tag on. And I'm what? I don't work here. I don't work here. You know what's hilarious though? I've gone to a few places and I don't know if it's just the way I dress sometimes or what, but people honestly be thinking I work at places. Like they'll just come up to me and start asking me where shit is and start talking to me and stuff. Or they really hit me with the excuse me, but do you work here? And I'm like, no, but I kind of take that as a compliment because at least you think I have a job. Like, thank you. But at the same time, nah, just shopping. Like, but if we hit self checkout, technically we working today, I guess. So let me help you go find what you need to find. Are you gonna use self checkout today? Oh, me too. So let's just work for free today. Like, and we're losing the humanity out of stuff. We're taking humanity. Yo, McDonald's and when like I think Wendy's is starting to do it too now. But certain places now you don't even talk to somebody anymore to order a fucking burger and stuff. You just press buttons on a screen and stick your card in the thing or stick your money through the little thing. Your receipt prints out. You wait 2 minutes and somebody comes from the back and hands you your shit and you leave. What? No more like, hey, welcome to McDonald's. It's just like beep boop, beep boop, beep 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 beep. Big Mac. And you leave like yo, eventually and then you seen this conveyor belt sushi shit and all this. Like I'm telling you, shit's just gonna start dropping out of places. Like it's gonna be like some Jetson shit, but think about it, people. That's a lot of like jobs lost. That's a lot of like you gotta. We might need some. There's probably all right. Bill Gates is already trying to do a depopulation or whatever. Like, but so you get what I'm saying. Look at what is going on here, people. Things are going on. All right. Look into these things. Look into these things. All right, because soon, man, who knows, man? They're just going to be using like other versions of us to do everything and to help pay off this unimaginable debt. Because humans are becoming too complaining and we're starting to protest and we're trying to like stand up for ourselves and they're like, fuck, they're figuring stuff out. We need to figure out how to like slow them down, make them a little dumber, until we can figure out how to make just artificial versions of them to do all the shit. And once they're out the way, we're going to come up with, we're keeping all the good medicines for ourselves. And we're going to like shoot up all our families and everything with the good medicines and everything. And we're just going to keep fucking and making this place exist until we create the utopia that we want. And this shit's gonna be like that book, The Giver, or some shit out of nowhere. And everyone's gonna be wearing all white and can't see in color and shit. It's gonna be fucking crazy. I'll end it on that. Bop, 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 bop. for listening. I'm just talking shit. Hoping you see the shit. 'Cause this shit is real. All the shit is not the deal. We might be getting fucked. Well, just to pay the buck. Grinding. You stay grinding. Keep grinding. So you can pay that motherfucking debt. Cause if you don't stop fucking, if you stop fucking working, you fucking slave, you're a slave. You're a slave. Sorry, that was the government in me talking. No, I'm kidding. But pay attention, guys. Have a good day. Thank you.